Hey guys, welcome to Nate and Greg's World. Today on this episode, we're going to be talking about motorcycling, and in particular, taking a motorcycle trip. And in the house with us today, we have Adam, who is starting up a business called Kickstands Up Motorcycle Adventures. You might remember Adam from some of our Lap Guy episodes there. So make sure that you subscribe, hit that bell icon, set up all your notifications, and follow us on all of our social media there, and stay tuned for the rest of this episode.
I got no voice to pick with you.
Hey guys, welcome back. So here we are. We're in the studio today with our good buddy Adam. Adam, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure's all mine. How we doing, boys?
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. You have this new business that you're starting up. Now, this isn't starting up right now at this second. It's going to be coming out in 2022.
That's right. Yeah, we're in sort of in the we're past the planning stage, kind of in the organization stage,
right?
And building a big network. So yeah, Kickstands Up will be spring of 2022.
That's awesome. So from what I understand, from what we've talked about a little bit before, because we just started talking a little bit, this is basically like a full concierge service. So guys who have never gone on a motorcycle trip, or have maybe gone on a little bit of a trip here and there, but want to go on those bigger trips, you're going to sit there and you're going to basically kind of like a trip advisor, kind of set up the whole thing for them. So they just tell you, this is what we want to do. This is where we want to go. And you're the guy to make it happen.
Yeah. It's definitely been a passion project. And so Kickstands, it's going to be something different for every client.
Right.
We can what I'm going to be doing with you guys. I mean, you already have the nuts and bolts of your trip, and so
Yes.
we're just going to talk about how to enhance it and how to make sure that it runs the way you want it, right? So that your dream trip is a dream trip. Yeah. But the goal of Kickstands is also to take it where, if somebody said, I want to travel Europe, I want to travel Asia, I want to do wherever.
Yeah.
That we could literally take them from the idea to the execution of the trip, and everything in between, whether that's shipping motorcycles, whether that is, booking hotels, and then the full package would be me leading a ride.
Right.
And as a chef, I mean, we can offer everything, right? Like
right.
we could literally have people rock up on their bikes and we'll go hit the road for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. I don't care.
Yeah. As long as the money's there.
As long as the money's there. And we can concierge literally every step of it. And,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm excited about it.
Perfect. So just to back it up just a hair there, and for those that are just starting to tune in right now, or this is your first Nate and Greg's episode, Nate and I have been discussing about taking our going on a big trip out to BC from southern Ontario here, where we're stationed at. And it's going to be a good trip. Like, we're looking at a 2-week trip, basically get there, do what it is that we're going to do out there, which is actually my university graduation, and then turn around and rocking it right back there. Time is of a bit of a factor, so we're going to make it happen. So that's the trip that we're talking about right now. When Adam's talking about, hey, these guys are going on a trip. But Adam here has gone and, like, we've already gone and, started to pre-plan, do a lot of the stuff and get things going. But Adam here, like, he's got a lot of experience. Like, he had already gone and planned a full trip, had it all ready to go to, where was it that you were going down to in South America?
Central America. We were going
Central
to,
America,
so the plan was to ride from London, Ontario down to the Panama Canal and back.
Right. Yes. And it was a beautiful plan. Everything was going smoothly. And then there was a couple hiccups that ended up happening. Some things got pushed off a little bit. And then all of a sudden, people at the border said, no, not fucking happening at the last second due to some other unforeseen issues and stuff like this. So stuff had to get pushed back a little bit further. And then when you're all ready to go, ready to make it happen again, COVID.
COVID.
Thank you, COVID.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And so that trip will happen.
Yes.
It's just a question of timing, and you know, it's if there's one thing that I've learned about motorcycle travel is you have to be incredibly flexible.
Right.
Whether it's you know, whether it's a big trip. I mean, that was going to be a 10-month trip.
Yeah.
You know, a big trip like that, or even just, you know, a long weekend rip. You need to be, you know, really open minded and able to yeah, change it when things come up, because things will come up.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like you had that trip all planned. Everything was ready to go. Issues happened, but that doesn't mean that you haven't been doing trips. Like what was it? Like we were busy sitting there watching them do like this big trip that you just had this past summer there, despite COVID. You know, and like you were all over Ontario, especially Northern Ontario.
Yeah, I spent 12 weeks on the road. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Saw parts of this province that I didn't even know existed, and it's one of those things you really don't know what you have in your backyard until you go see it. And you know, I when's the last time you guys went to the Niagara Falls just to see the falls?
Oh fuck, I couldn't tell you the last time I was there. It seems like absolutely forever.
Year ago.
About a year ago?
But I was with a group.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's like when we would only go, like I remember going as a family when relatives would come over from Holland. And for them it was, you know, this huge deal. Got to go see one of the 7 wonders of the world. Got to go see Niagara Falls. Yeah. It's in our backyard. We could go anytime that we want, and we don't. So yeah, having the time to do that trip last summer, it was, I mean, I'm incredibly fortunate, but it was amazing. And I you know, granted, I spent a lot of time away from society, right? Because it was COVID and all of that, so I was sleeping in the woods and doing that. But and it was interesting because it was quite a bit of an adjustment to come back to society. Being around a bunch of people was not just because of COVID, but it freaked me out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, it was an amazing trip, and I've basically been doing this kind of vagabonding for the last 6 or 7 years, and so now I want to take it, you know, so that I can pass on some of my knowledge, and you know, I've had failed trips, and so I'd like to, you know, help people not, you know, make some of the mistakes that I've made.
Yeah, because like you've still come out and you still had plenty of successful trips. And, like these trips have been freaking awesome, you know. But like as I was starting to mention, like Nate and I, we've sat here and, you know, we've kind of pre-planned our trip there. We've started getting into the details, but there's so many more details you got to look at. Like what's some of the smaller details? We're like, oh shit, what about this? You know, like there's some stuff there.
Yeah,
like, do you remember a couple of them?
I think the big one, like a lot of them, the big one was the gas.
Yeah.
Right? Because you always have that concern on a bike. It's not a car.
Yep.
So you don't have as far to get between. And when you're in Northern Ontario heading out west, it's a few hours between.
Absolutely. And it's but like anything on a bike, it's all forethought. Like even when we're riding at you know, 120 kilometers an hour, you're always thinking 5-10 seconds ahead down the road, right? So as riders, we should be in that mindset to begin with. Now when it comes to fuel and stuff like that, then it's just making sure that planning is in place. And so I'm just gonna kind of jump in and we'll kind of go through a little bit of my process, and I'm stoked because I think your ride's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
So when I look at motorcycle trips, there's kind of 2 styles really. There's what you guys are doing, which is just crushing kilometers. And I love it, right? Like that is so cool. And then there's the, you know, my trip last summer, I didn't have I had specific dates that I wanted to be places, but I really didn't have any rules.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I could have a day that was 150K. I could have a day that was 800K.
Right.
I didn't have rules. Now you guys, like I said, you're just going to be crushing K, which is awesome. So, What do you figure you are round trip on this? So
Round trip, it's close to 10,000 kilometers.
10,000 K.
Yeah, about
In-
10,000 kilometers. I think that's what we marked it out as, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is
it's a
so
long
awesome.
ways.
Do you know that you are actually going to be in kind of the top 3 to 4% of motorcycle riders, just especially in Canada, just on those kilometers alone.
Oh yeah,
As far as the number of kilometers ridden per year,
yeah.
like that trip alone will put you in the top. Yeah,
Oh
3,
yeah.
4, 5%. Like it's massive. So many riders do the Tim Horton cruise on the weekend, right?
Absolutely.
And so yeah, crushing
Yeah.
10,000 K in 2
Yeah.
weeks, so 14 days.
Well, and you see, I think that's the part that's going to be a little bit more interesting too, because like we've easily crushed 10,000 K in a season. Like
Yeah.
we've crushed many K in a season, but not 10,000 K in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
15 days.
Yeah, 14 days.
I could hear
Yeah.
it. I could hear it in both your voices. So is that trepidation or
Yeah.
what is that?
No. I know we're going to be broken,
Yeah.
but that's fine. We've done much shorter rides and been broken, so
Right.
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Right. So we'll get to that. So
Yeah.
14 days. So what are we going to average? Probably about 800K a day.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's about 800. I think there's the one day that's about 1,000 that we were looking at based on the stops that we were looking,
Okay.
because we got a couple spots that's like, yeah, this is where we're going to do this.
So we're looking probably on average. Wow. You'll be 10 to 12 hours saddle time.
Yeah.
Just every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day for 14 days.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're riding the bikes that you are.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. I mean, you have the bikes suited for this,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't matter what motorcycle you're on. It's gonna be that's gonna be crushing, like
Mhm.
absolutely crushing.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about the whole trip. So why are you guys doing this?
Well, for myself, it started out a little over 3 years ago. Actually, a little bit longer than that. You know, like I'd always thought about going, you know, cross country and stuff like that on the bike. I thought it'd be really cool. But then it was a matter of trying to find a reason to go.
Okay.
And a long time ago, before I made up my mind that this is what I wanted to do, my son had actually been living out in BC, and we were down in the Victoria area. I saw the island, and I'm like, why am I driving around in a rental car right now? I want my motorcycle. I want to be hitting these roads, because it was just absolutely gorgeous. So then that was even more of a reason. I'm like, I want to get out there. I want to ride out there. I want to ride all the way out there to ride there,
Yeah.
you know? And then I actually started school. So I started school, started doing all that, and decided that, well, this is fantastic, because now I have a reason to go. I graduated university. I'm going to go. I'm going to ride out there to do my graduation.
Okay. So the university is in BC.
Yeah, it's
Right
at the
on.
University of Victoria is where I ended up going
Okay.
to. It was all online, thankfully.
Yeah.
But I did that, and then it's got the whole sentimental value for me too, because nobody thought I was going to go past high school. They really didn't. They're like, congratulations, you made it out of high school. Now you're in the Army. Go have fun. You know?
You have a twisted idea of fun.
Yeah.
I'm in the Army now. Okay. All right.
Yeah, lots of fun.
All right.
But,
all right. 12 hours a day might not be a problem. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
exactly. But then the thing is getting through high school. I wasn't a good student. It wasn't that I wasn't smart. It's just I was not a good student. Like I didn't want to do my work. I'm like, fuck this. Why am I gotta do like schoolwork? This is bullshit. I don't want to do it. Right. So my mom really helped me get through high school. She made sure that all the assignments were done. You know, I'd come home and I'd be like, yeah, hey mom, you know, I got this assignment due tomorrow. Like it's this, you know, paper on this.
Nice.
When's it due? Tomorrow. Fuck. Okay, what do you want to say? This. All right. So she type it up. I go get the marks. I'm like, Mom, you got an 80 on that one, and hand it back to her, right? So then when it came time to actually graduate high school, she's like, oh, good. Are you going to go? You're going to come? You're going to make it to your graduation? You're going to do all this? I'm like, Mom, I'm in basic training right now. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, the Army's not going to let me off for 2 days to come back home to walk across the stage and get a high school diploma. That's not how the Army works. That's fucking bullshit. She was not happy about that. Well, then mom ended up passing from cancer there a few years back. She didn't actually get to see me go to university,
Okay.
Which would have been, a pretty cool thing for her. So now for me to go to BC to do the graduation and stuff like that, walk across that stage, it's not just for me. It's for mom too.
That's awesome,
So
brother.
there's so many things involved with the trip, and the bucket list aspect, the sentimental aspect to it. The trip's happening. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care how it's going to happen. It's happening.
Yeah, that is
Even if I
awesome.
got to take out 10 credit cards, I'm going to make it happen.
Why do we need a Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Nate, why are you doing this? Other than your brother's going, right? Like why isn't he riding this solo?
Well, he might be riding the majority of it solo. It depends on how tired I get. But no, it's been a bucket list for me. I'm just sad that because originally we planned going out the U.S. side,
Yeah,
and back the Canadian side. And it's always been a bucket list for me to ride out to the coast and ride up the coast. Now we wouldn't have had time for all that anyways, but at least it would have been that ride out there on both sides. So, but I mean, it is what it is, and hopefully we'll enjoy the Canadian side and what there is to see.
there's always other rides.
Yeah,
There's always other rides.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, I mean I'm glad you said that because I mean this is my whole thing.
Yeah.
And even when Rick and I were planning the lap, the everything was safety based. Yeah. I mean, massive adventure and the excitement that goes along with that and the challenges that go along with that. But safety's first, right? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Like, I wanna go every trip that I go on. I want to come back from, right? So
yeah, so it's all about the next trip.
It's all about the next trip, right?
Yes.
Dude, even when I'm on the trip, wherever I'm going, I'm thinking about my next ride. It's just always clicking through my head. Even, this week we finally had a snap of decent weather, and I pulled the bike out of storage and went for a ride, and every cruise that I do, and this one was no different. It is all right. So what am I going to do next? Where am I going to go this year? I'm planning a very different trip this year for me, where usually I'm on the adventure bike and looking for places to throw a tent down and all of that. Well, life throws surprises.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And I was incredibly fortunate. Met an amazing woman last year, and now she wants to travel with me.
Nothing better than having a woman want to ride with you. It's
100%. And it was funny. As soon as my trip was over, was it about a week after Labor Day? I got back last year. I put the KLR up for sale, and went, all right, I got to buy a cruiser because Jeanette wants to ride, and that's super cool. So
and honestly, when we saw the KLR go up, we're like, oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah. Oh, I got so much now, and it's funny because I've had so many motorcycles, and for me, I get emotionally attached to bikes, but not the way I did years ago. Now it's like every bike means a different level of freedom for me. The KLR gave me the freedom to go bury it in some mud and have fun with it. The Boulevard that I'm riding now gives me the freedom to do what I'm going to do this summer with Jeanette, and so we're actually going to ship the bike out to Vancouver.
Nice.
And then we're going to spend almost the same amount of time, probably about 2.5 weeks riding back. So basically take your ride time every day, cut it a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to stop and smell the roses along.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, 2 up, it's a whole different thing. And I'm not going to be looking for somewhere to string up a hammock. We're going to be staying in hotels and doing it like grown-ups.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Well, because that was the thing with me, like the question did come up. Well, should we, maybe look about camping? And it only lasted for about 5 seconds. It's like, no, you know what? The Army killed the whole idea of camping for me. Fucking, I'm in a hotel now. That's the way it is.
And doing camping on your trip would make absolutely no sense.
We spend half our time just sitting and,
well,
taking down camp.
That's it, right? Like and you guys are going to need solid sleep.
Oh yeah.
And again, we'll get into the mental side of
Yeah.
it, but yeah, the idea of setting up camp, tearing down camp, I mean, that's half a day. Like,
Yeah.
Like repacking the KLR. Last summer, I'd wake up, 6 a.m. kind of thing. I'm a morning guy.
Yeah.
And then I'd have a couple of coffees, have some breakfast, relax a little bit, and then start tearing down camp. I wasn't on the road till 10:30, 11 o'clock most days. And then you want to get somewhere in time to scout out a spot to stay and then set everything back up. And so yeah, you guys don't have the time for that.
No.
At all. And one of you would end up killing the other.
Absolutely.
No.
One of us would become Machete Guy.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Machete Guy is, look at the original lap thing.
Go back to episode 1 or 2 with the lap guys.
But yeah, so you're going to end up you're kind of running through and to basically help you make sure that you're preparing for what it is that you're doing with your whole sorry, I just had a complete brain fart there.
Kickstands up, buddy.
Yes, that's it. Kickstands up. Your business there that you're wanting to do. You're using us as guinea pigs.
Absolutely.
You're using us as guinea pigs. And that's awesome because I don't mind getting free shit. I know Nate don't mind getting free shit either. So we're getting this wonderful experience of having someone else help us plan our trip.
Yeah.
Going, hey, dum did you think about this? You're going, oh yeah, we didn't think about that one.
Yeah, and this will be a whole process, right? We've got so let's talk about that. So Kickstands Up. That the reason I name the company that is that every time I start to plan a trip, I start with a Kickstands update.
Yeah.
And so that is the date that I start the trip, that I get on the bike. And when you've been planning something for so long, there's nothing better than that date. Because
absolutely,
at the beginning, it feels like it's never going to get there, right?
Yeah.
Like it's never going to happen. So you set a Kickstands Up date and you go, all right, now I can work backwards from there and figure out what we need to do. So over the next, so let's talk about your Kickstands update.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
Well, I know that the second week of June is when the graduation is supposed to be. I'm still waiting on a confirmed date. So I don't know if anybody from the University of Victoria is there right now listening to this. That'd be great if you were, but I doubt it. But I'm still looking for that official date. We know the week, and we're guesstimating right in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
So I think it's the week of the 7th is what we said it was. And so
it would be June 3rd. The week of the 7th is the graduation week. June 3rd would be the Kickstands Up.
Kickstands update?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, because we got to be there for graduation on the 9th, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 3rd. So June 3rd. I like that.
Yeah.
So between now and June 3rd, like this isn't just a one-off. Come sit down and chat with you guys.
Oh yeah.
We're going to work through a bunch of things. And,
yes.
And so between now and June 3rd, we're going to get you out on the road. We're going to get you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've ridden with you guys. I know you're quality riders. That's not an issue. But from my company standpoint, I'm going to start with every new person as if I don't know how they ride.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do some parking lot work. We're going to work on packing the bikes. We're going to, because that's an art all to itself, right?
Absolutely.
And it's not until you ride an improperly packed bike, which I've done, that you realize, wow, okay, balance is a big deal.
Absolutely.
And balance is, I mean, honestly, if I've got 15 pounds heavier on one side than the other, riding, the bike's going to take care of that, right?
Yeah.
Like she's absolutely going to take care of that. It's when I need to do, when I stop at a light, and I forget that I'm 15 pounds heavier on that side. Then I'm the jackass who drops his bike on the at
Well,
a
everyone-
light. And we've all seen it, right?
Yes.
And we've all done it, and it's so demoralizing.
Nothing more embarrassing, but what you got to do at that point is just kind of stand up and walk away and go, yep, that's right. I meant to put it down right there.
That's right. I like my bike on the side.
Yeah.
You know, that I had extra fuel. It's gotta get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll work on all of that
Yeah.
stuff and maintenance and
Yeah.
all of that jazz. But I'm gonna keep coming back to where we started. So this trip, yes, it's going to be a grind. It's going to be physically demanding. It's going to be mentally demanding. But we're going to keep coming back to why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? It's the bucket list. It's for mom. It's for the graduation. It is all of those things. And you'll need that along the way as a touch point
Oh, yeah.
for the days where you hit the wall, and just go, okay, yeah, we need to push through. And you'll be able to do it. It's gonna be fun.
Well, because that's the thing, right? Like with us, you know, unlike your trip last year, where it was like, well, yeah, I can go here today if I want, or yeah, you know, I've hit the wall. I'm just going to sit here for 2 days. Us, it's no, we have a date. We have to be here by this time here. Go.
That's right.
You know,
that's
and
right.
So that's what, you know, makes it harder.
Yeah,
It definitely does.
And I shot an entire video on my trip last year on a day that I hit the wall. That because I was just going and going and going for a couple of weeks and having a blast, right? Like, I mean, Manitoulin might have been one of the most beautiful places that I experienced, and it was I planned to be there for a day or two. 4 days later, I hadn't left.
Right.
Like I was, it was absolutely amazing. And so I did that riding, and then started heading north, and I hadn't given myself time to downtime whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And I had a couple of days where I just didn't want to get on the motorcycle, like, at all. And for somebody who is, you know, a relatively seasoned motorcycle traveler, that is incredibly demoralizing.
Absolutely.
Right? To realize that I don't want to do this.
I know I've had it before. You've hit the wall before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it scared the shit out of me. It really did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was able to go, okay, if I just take a couple of days, relax, get away from. I actually got a hotel for one of the few times on that trip, and you know, got a good night's sleep, and then I went and found a waterfall and just hung out there for a couple of days just to get my brain back.
Nice.
Just to be able to do that, and then I was able to, and then I was ready to, you know, head up to Pickle Lake, and you know, go do some wild riding and
Absolutely.
some of the best riding I've ever had.
Yeah.
But
because a lot of this trip, and a lot of most trips, it is all about the mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like if there's no cares in the world or anything like that, everything's great. You know, you can go for a while, and then, you know, if you don't have time frames, you can go and be like, I'm kind of done with riding right now. I just want to sit back. Because, like, I know I've come back from a long trip, because I've taken a few trips myself where I've gone out for a few days here and there. Come back and I'm like, I don't even want to look at my bike right now.
Yeah,
I really don't. Right. Because it was hard riding, you know, going where I wanted to go and stuff like that. But it's, as you said, you hit that wall where you're like, no, I don't want to do this, you know. But keeping that goal in mind, having the mental fortitude to carry on with your trip, to carry on doing what you want to do to achieve that goal is a huge, huge thing. You know, so as you said, like, you're going to be running us through. We're going to doing some serious prep for this.
Oh yeah,
thing,
oh yeah,
and
we're gonna work on mechanics, not just riding mechanics, but actual mechanics on the bikes. And, and all of that. Now, before we go too much further, how are your families with this? I mean, I've had both I think I've had my family roll their eyes every time I say I think I'm going to go on a little trip. And you know they're starting to get used to it because my little trips are never.
It's never
a long.
I'll be
weekend.
back in a couple hours.
Yeah. But then they see once they start experiencing it sort of through me, they realize, holy crap, Adam doesn't need a therapist because he does these things, right? Because he's out on his bike that much. So what is it like on the home front? Like how's your family with this trip, or have you even talked about it?
I'm gonna call them from Winnipeg when we're 2 days in. Let them know.
Okay.
Dad said he was going for smokes. Where is he?
All right. So they just don't care.
Yeah, well, they probably will. That's why I'm not going to tell them.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Cause
Yeah.
very. They don't obviously watch your podcast.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You do, and then ask for permission after, right?
Yeah.
How about you, brother? I mean,
For me, they're all for it. They've known what's going on. I've been keeping them right up to date. I'm like, look, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. My wife, she rides, and she's like, I wish I could be going with you. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do too. Anyways, and then my son, he was actually going to come out with us, because he would have had his license just in time, and we would have been able to get him prepped and ready to go, but it still would have been a grind for him.
right.
But then he got himself a girlfriend, and with his job and stuff like this, he's busy spending all his money on Skip, spending all his money doing other things. And it's like, dude, we've already gone over the budget. This is what you need. Yeah, I know. Okay, so you're not coming? Probably not. Didn't think so. Okay, have a good one. So, but overall, everyone's excited for me. Like I got the other kids there because I got like a soccer team, right? And the rest of them, they're just like, yeah, that's cool. Fucking let us know how it works out. We'll watch the videos, we'll watch the all the other stuff, and we'll keep up to date with you. Give us a call once in a while.
Yeah.
Cool. Bye.
Right on. One of it's interesting leaving people behind, because I mean, you guys are going to be completely jacked for this trip.
Oh yeah.
And it's tough to get other people into your mind, and they're never going to be as excited for it as you are.
Yeah.
But to just kind of leave people behind, it can be a little disconcerting for them as well.
Yeah.
And I've done it both ways, where it's like, if you haven't heard from me in 3-4 days, you should probably start worrying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I actually this past trip I got a little GPS tracker. It cost next to nothing. I think it might have been like $100.
Yeah.
And it I don't know, links to a satellite. I don't know the technique. I really don't. I don't. Honest. Here's what I care about. Does it work?
Yes.
I don't need to know what's behind it.
Yeah.
But
it's the magic in the box.
yeah. But my mom could look up on an app, or Jeanette could look up on an app and go, oh, okay, he's here. All right. Okay. Yeah. The bike has moved, so he's okay.
Yes.
And so even if they hadn't heard from me in a couple of days, then no worries. Because I mean, I was doing some traveling there was no cell service. That was not a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But and then if it clears my mind too, knowing that they aren't sitting at home worrying about me.
Right.
And then I can focus on what I'm doing. And trying to stay alive on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
so getting there and back.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about what have you guys thought about what your challenges might be, right? Like, hitting the wall, that will be one, and we can talk about ways to kind of mentally take care of that. But yeah, what do you guys think some of your challenges along the way are going to be?
I'm thinking probably one of the biggest challenge is going to be the weather. That's going to be a big thing because, you know what, like Nate and I, we've both ridden through the rain plenty of times, and all because we had to. Nobody ever plans to ride through the rain. Nobody. You know, and if you do, you're dumb. But nobody plans to ride through the rain. But we know that we have to get from here to there, and there's going to be some shitty weather at some point in time. So we're going to have to go. We're going to have to do this. We're going to have to ride through the rain at some point in time, because it doesn't matter what happens. Like every trip that we've gone on, like we've hit the rain.
There's always rain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I don't think we're ever going back to Ottawa. We've decided we're never going back to Ottawa, because we'll go to Ottawa for a weekend there. It'll be beautiful all the way there. The weekend will be absolutely beautiful. Sunday we'll wake up. Okay, time to go home. And we just get on the road. Boom. Rain for the next 3 hours. And we're just like, this is horrible.
Yep.
Just absolutely horrible. And that's a lot of stuff. And once again, it plays on your mind again.
Oh yeah.
It's
cold and wet.
Yeah.
Destroys you.
Oh, I would rather be riding in 45-degree heat and having to stop every 6 minutes to chug a water because I'm dehydrating.
Yeah.
Than be cold and wet.
Absolutely.
It's horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So physically it destroys you.
Yes.
So what are we going to do? Because you're going to have rain. You're going to have rain. You're going across Canada at the beginning of June.
Yes.
I want you to remember that. You're not going in the middle of friggin' August.
Yeah.
You're going beginning of June.
Yeah.
And you're just heading north.
Yes.
That's north and across.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be chilly, boys. So
absolutely.
What are we doing to mitigate rain and cold and all that?
You want to answer this?
I have no idea. No, I think we've always carried rain suits.
Yeah.
That are handy. So if it starts to rain, you just pull off to the side, throw them on to try to keep as dry as possible. And then as far as the cold doesn't bother me as so much, because I can layer up.
Yeah.
And then as the day goes on, you just kind of strip down layer for layer as you go.
Yeah.
So every stop, you're kind of taking off the next layer of clothing and continuing on.
And you try not to get completely naked on the side of the road.
Well, you see, because
or you do. I mean,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
That does get a little embarrassing at times, because I've been with Nate and he's like, oh, it's just getting too hot. Next thing you know, he's in a Borat Speedo type thing ripping along on his bike. I'm like, dude, it's not that warm yet, but
that's how I'm comfortable.
Yeah, it's got all the old banana hammock just going, fucking riding like that.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's not safe at all.
No,
Why?
no.
Right? What is it? Was it dress for the slide, not the ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Nah.
Meh.
Nah.
you live once.
That's right.
What was that? What was that the kids used to say?
again,
YOLO or something like that?
Yellow.
Yeah.
YOLO.
YOLO? Yeah,
Yeah.
We're still trying to get you guys back alive.
Oh, that's
Like,
right.
right?
That's right. Yes.
And I mean, selfishly, I want to use you as promotional material.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it would be great for
No.
Kickstands Up if I'm like, my
First clients are dead.
my first guys, man, they had a great time on the way out.
Before. This is the after. Notice how he lays in the casket.
Yeah.
They put him together pretty well.
Yeah, so selfishly,
Yeah.
I mean, outside of the fact that I,
Yeah.
kind of like hanging out with you.
Yeah. I guess we'll do.
Yeah. Professionally, I need you to come back
Yeah.
alive. Heated gloves.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna just do it.
Well, a lot of our buddies that we ride with, they all they got the heated grips, because
Yeah.
our riding season for Nate and myself tends to be a little bit longer than most riders. I drive taxi, right? Every once in a while, and it's just to make a couple extra bucks, and it's really just to pay for this fucking trip. Is really why I started driving taxi, because I needed a little bit more cash coming in. And I met a guy today in my cab, and he's like, "Oh man, I can't believe people were out on their bikes yesterday." I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean that you can't believe they were out on their bikes?" Nope, you put them away at the middle of the fall. You bring them out May 2-4 weekend.
What?
And I'm like, on what fucking planet, dude?
Yeah.
And I'm like, my bike never gets winterized. We ride every month of the year.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that's just not right. Okay, so be it.
Okay. All right.
But we ride almost all year round. So the heated grips, those are a must have.
Oh yeah. And a heated vest.
Mhm.
So I mean, what we want to, and I mean, if heated gloves aren't viable,
Yeah.
then get a bunch of those hot pocket things.
Oh,
I
yeah.
use those all the time in late season or early season
Yeah.
riding. Just
Mhm.
have, because I want to keep my feet,
Yeah,
I want to keep my hands, and I want to keep my organs warm,
absolutely.
right? The rest of it, if I've got those things taken care of, I don't notice the rest,
Right.
right? And so
Mhm.
heated vests, they're reasonably cheap,
Yeah,
but definitely worth the money.
yeah,
And you can even USB it
yeah,
directly to your bike, and we'll talk about
yeah.
how charging shit off your bike is.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because we got a whole lot of other stuff that we're doing with this trip too, because we had the podcast now, so we've thought we could do this. So we're going to be a mobile studio going down the highway,
right on.
along with everything else, and it's kind of crazy, But like we're like right now with you, like in this episode here, like because we're going to have not necessarily full episodes with you, but there's going to be like little featurettes, I guess we'll call them,
Absolutely.
where we're going to be doing a lot of this stuff. Like we've already started to hit some of the stuff about why we're doing it, and stuff like this. But when we get into the preparation of this, like you're going to have us, as you said, in the parking lots and stuff. So people get to watch us, going and screwing around with our bikes, trying to load them up.
Absolutely. And
doing everything.
I've been watching your TikTok stuff, and that's an absolute friggin' blast. I love watching it. I mean, you're idiots, and
I know, it's
and
great.
I love it, which is why I think I get along with you, because I've been accused of the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna do all kinds of fun stuff with that. So yeah, they'll be
yeah.
I'm sure between the three of us we can come up with some
absolutely
batshit crazy ideas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about taking the podcast on the road, because I know you're doing the Kickstarter.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
let's start there, and then we'll back up to actually shooting stuff on the road, because I think I got a few ideas for you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when we do some of our featurettes, we're going to go right back into how we're going to set up, because we had a couple ideas. Like as I said, we had planned this trip, and we're like, this would be probably good if we actually videoed this whole thing, right? And then we got thinking, well, wait a second. There's somebody out in BC that we actually want to try to have a podcast with. Can't very well drag them back here to our studio. We don't have the money to bring in guests.
Right.
Like, it's a good thing you come for free.
On so many levels.
So many levels, So then we're like, well, what we need to do that? Because we're looking at our studio equipment, and there's no way we're bringing our studio with us. It just would not fit on the bike.
Yeah.
Right? It will not fit on the bike. So we're like, well, what can we do to have the stuff to film the actual ride, stuff to film a podcast out there? And if we're going to do the one podcast, why don't we have all the stuff that we need to film podcasts everywhere? So we can take the podcast right on the road, so we don't have to keep trying to drag people into our studio. They're more than welcome to come, but it's a lot nicer, like with some of the stuff that we cover, dealing with different cultures, different lifestyles and stuff like that, to actually go into their lifestyle, immerse ourselves in their culture, and stuff like that. So we want to be able to take the podcast to them.
Cool.
Instead of dragging them out of their culture and putting them here. So yeah, we started up the Kickstarter there, and we did all the figuring out. We know what equipment we need. We know how it's all going to work, and just how it's all going to be able to fit on the bike, because that's how we travel. We travel by bike.
Yeah.
So in order to get to a podcast, it needs to be able to fit on a bike.
Yeah.
And we figured it all out, and we're looking at $4,500. That's what we have to raise. We have to raise it by April 5th, or the whole Kickstarter thing shuts down.
Okay.
Right. So that's what we're really hoping. We're really hoping people that are paying attention and watching will be like, you know what? Hey, I'll kick in $10, because that's all it really takes.
Yeah.
Get enough people that are kicking in $10, and away we go.
Okay. And so I love the idea of videoing a trip, and I mean, obviously you've watched.
Yeah,
feel free to go to the lap.
Oh yeah,
just search the lap on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a couple of I guess just little suggestions.
Yeah.
I know when Rick and I first started talking about videoing the lap, we're like, every minute is gonna be documented.
Yeah.
And right, because I mean we're inspired by like Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman doing long way round and all of that stuff, and which if you haven't seen, phenomenal. But I mean, they had well, it's Ewan McGregor. They had
Yeah.
Star Wars money.
Yes, absolutely.
And a film crew.
Yeah.
We did not
yeah.
have that at all, and we had a bunch of faux pros, and and really, that was about it. So the idea of recording every minute just didn't make sense, and
No.
and so the way our mentality with it was approach a video shot kind of like you would a still picture, right, where you're riding and you go, okay, this part would be really cool, so shoot it for 5-10 minutes.
And I think that's going to come into a lot of the planning and preparation for this trip. Like, there's the actual trip itself, planning that, and then there's going to be the actual filming portion, where we'll be like, okay, look, between this stop and this stop, this is going to be some cool footage. We know this.
Yeah.
So we'll film from there. We don't need to worry about here and here. We just enjoy our own shit.
That's right.
Every once in a while we'll have our comms that are going back and forth. We'll be able to do a little moto vlogging at the same time, and it's going to be awesome. But because that's the thing, we still want to be able to enjoy the trip for ourselves.
That's right. This trip, and it all will always go back to that bucket list.
Yeah.
Right. This trip is for you to get to your graduation.
Yeah.
So that your heart's full because mom's looking down and going,
yeah,
holy shit, he did it.
Yeah.
And
he was actually smart enough to do school.
I don't know, we'll go that far, but
I managed to convince a few professors that I was all right.
That's right. You wipe the drool off your chin for a little bit.
Yeah.
But
that's
no,
what I say it was.
that it's that it's the trip, right? And the minute it becomes about your social media, or the minute it becomes the podcast becomes more important than the trip, you're going to start hating the podcast.
Yeah.
Because,
or hating the trip itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. The grinding out of 10 to 12 hours every day.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that for yourself, if you're doing that for your followers and for everybody else, then you're going to despise the entire trip.
And that's the thing. I want to make it very clear. We are very happy and very thankful for all of our followers. We would love to keep you all happy. But guess what? This is my fucking trip. So
But it also comes back to the safety side of it, where if you're focused so much on getting the right shot and getting this and getting that, where's your head?
Absolutely.
Right. You're riding a friggin' motorcycle, and I'm sorry, that has to be priority one.
Yeah.
And especially, the first couple hours of your day, where you're still working out the kinks from yesterday's ride.
Yeah.
If you're focused on anything other than the ride, you're putting your life in danger. Yeah. And also at the end of the day, right? So you've done 9 to 10 hours of riding. You can see, right? Your GPS says 2 hours left, and you're like, yeah, we can friggin' do this. Let's go, right? And you get on the comms, and you're like, we're almost fucking there.
Yeah.
But if you're worried about, okay, we gotta get this shot, or if a beaver crosses the road, we got to make sure we get that, or whatever it is, right? You're not focusing on that riding, and that's when those last few hours are the most dangerous of every day. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's where either tunes or talking to each other is going to be the most important. And
for sure.
I think the other thing, and Rick and I did this a lot, where you got to be your brother's keeper. There is a point.
Yeah.
We're all big tough motorcycle guys, right?
Yeah.
Or at least we think we are.
I don't know. I've had some pretty soft days, I gotta say. I've been pretty soft some days.
We like to portray ourselves.
God, it's too sunny right now.
But am I going to, right? If I'm riding with you guys, and I'm suddenly I'm having a tough go over, Am I going to get on the comm and go, boys, I need a break, right?
Yeah.
Like, and be like, what? We just got gas. You took a piss. You're fine.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's at least what I think you're going to think.
Yeah.
But you can watch a guy's body language.
Oh, yeah.
While he's riding, and the biggest thing for me is I'll start getting jittery in my seat.
Oh, yeah.
I'll start moving around.
Absolutely.
And so if I'm doing that, Rick knows to go. Probably time to get off the bike, eh?
Yeah.
Even if we've only been on even if we stopped half an hour ago.
Yeah.
And so being your brother's keeper is going to be incredibly important on this
Yeah.
trip, because knowing you guys the way I do, you're both stubborn sons of bitches.
Absolutely. Well, and speaking of being stubborn, like, I know, like, we're both planning to do this. We both want to do this. We're both going to go, but if for some reason Nate can't go, God forbid he can't go, because I really, really want him on this trip. I know I'm going. One way or the other, I'm going. And it would just be a whole lot better if I had someone with me.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm going to crush those miles either way, because there's so much riding on it for me.
I love it, man. I love being able to look in your eyes and just see the friggin' determination.
Oh, yeah.
I know you'll leave him on the side of the road if need be.
Yeah.
Or no, you'll stay on the side of the road if need be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
there's some good, strong love right there.
absolutely. No, that's what more do you want in a brother, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So it's again coming back
Yeah.
to those touch points.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here, let's see about wrapping it up with just a little, like, one other thing that we want to touch on today, something fairly quick, because as I said, we're going to be doing a lot of featurettes. Like,
Absolutely.
guys, we're going to put it up on Nate and Greg's World. You're going to have it on your social media, because we're going to be sharing all this footage back and forth of you going and trying to get us ready to go for this fucking trip.
Yeah.
Right. And stuff like this. So let's touch on one more thing, and then everybody else can kind of catch up on what it is that we're doing, because this is going to be going on up until June when the trip happens.
Love it.
So what's one other thing that we want to touch on?
All right, let's talk about your bikes.
Yes.
Real quick.
Yeah.
What are we doing to get the bikes ready?
Well, actually, I'm going to be making a phone call tomorrow to find out if the local dealer can grab my bike and go over it from front to back. I need to get it all done. I'm getting new rubber on. I'm getting new fluids through absolutely everything, and I'm going to get a full inspection on the whole bike to make sure it is ready to go for the pre-trip trips and stuff like that. And then right before we go, the plan is go back in and make sure it's good to go one more time. Fluids changed, all that good stuff. And then the only other thing that I got to worry about is that once I get out there, barring I don't even want to say it. Okay? I really don't want to say it. Let's just say no, I won't even say that. Okay. The trip's going to go well, and we're going to get out there. I'm going to get another oil change. I'm going to come the fuck home. That's what's going to happen.
All right. All right.
There we go.
Okay. All right. And
as I said, I might be taking out a couple more credit cards, but
yeah, we'll talk about tool rolls and all of that stuff. And,
Yeah.
And you guys know your bikes well. But, So that's what we're doing to prep your bike.
Yes.
I'm thinking I'm going to check the air pressure for my tires, probably by kicking them the day before.
You see, he's very safety conscious. He wants to make sure it's well.
Yes. Safety.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So tire kicking.
Yeah.
You're a lot of fun to interview. Just saying, it's it's a whole lot easier asking the questions.
He's been dealing with this one wobble now for the last 3 years, I think, or something like that. He's like, yeah, fuck whatever. It'll just keep going.
All right.
I just figure you get used to what you have.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. Maybe listening to your bike is because she's what's keeping you alive, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna get Nate's bike going.
Yeah, well, that's why
yours.
I'm leading the ride, and he's staying behind me. So if parts start falling off, I'm not getting hit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get your Kickstarter up.
Yes.
And I'm stoked for that because because I think there's a lot of fun stuff that can
Yeah.
come out of that. So we'll get
Well,
that up on our
and-
social media.
That'd be absolutely awesome. And I want to make sure that people that are listening are understanding what the Kickstarter for us really is. It's to get the equipment so that we can bring out more content. It's not to pay for this trip. We're paying for the trip ourselves.
Right.
Hey, if other people want to throw money at us to help us out with the trip, I'm all for that. But we're paying for the trip ourselves. The Kickstarter itself is strictly for the equipment for the podcast to take it on the road everywhere we go,
And
that's what it's all about.
And I'm gonna pop the bubble
Yeah.
that this isn't just a completely organic conversation. We've talked about this before.
Yes,
The equipment isn't just for this trip.
No.
Right. So you're looking at really expanding the business model of
the whole podcast. Yeah.
Mhm.
and being able to use it
Yeah.
long term for
Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
And that's why on Kickstarter we called it Nate and Greg's World is Expanding, because that's what we're doing. We are expanding. We're going all over the place to expand and do different things, and we're really hoping that if we're able to get this stuff for the podcast in time for the trip, people will be able to follow us on the trip. People will be able to see what we're doing on the trip, and we will actually be able to go and say, hey, we want to do a podcast with you, with one person in particular out west, I'm just going to tell them who it is that we're trying to get. We're going to try to get Bruce Cook. We've done an episode on him before. For those that don't know who Bruce Cook is, he's a freestyle motocross rider
Yeah.
who ended up going out with Nitro Circus there, and his first show with Nitro Circus out in Hamilton, ended up trying to attempt the first double front flip, and unfortunately it did not go well. He broke his back. A little over a year later, he was back in Toronto and completed the first backflip or paraplegic backflip. The guy has no use of his legs whatsoever. Got on a dirt bike and does a friggin' backflip.
Amazing.
Well, he lives in Kelowna, BC, and I messaged him when we had the episode up where we talked about Bruce, and he actually replied to me, oh, hey, no problem, man, I'll check it out, whatever. Whether he did, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm that is one of my other goals on this trip, is to be like, Bruce, I want to sit down, I want to talk with you. If we can do a podcast, that'd be fucking great.
Yep. Hey, Bruce,
So-
can you kick in $100 for the Kickstarter? I assume you're watching.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. Why would he not? It only makes sense. But yeah, no, we're looking to do so much stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we'll between the three of us, we'll get it up on all of our platforms and go
Mhm.
from there.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants, I'm going to do a little shameless plug here.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
go,
please
go.
do.
I
was going to plug you, but you can plug yourself.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, right now the website's just kind of it's got an outline of what I'm going to do with the company, and like I
Mhm.
said at the beginning, I'm in the building stage of the
Yes.
company and building my network that I need kind of worldwide.
Yeah,
www.kickstands.ca.
yeah,
And there's if anybody's interested, there's a bunch of information there.
absolutely,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Awesome.
We're going to make sure that we have that in the description down below, so that people can actually look at it. And then we're also going to make sure that we're hooked up with all your other social media stuff that you have. Where you're going to be putting up a lot of this stuff there.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll be
maybe some of
piggy-
your older stuff too, like from the lap guy stuff.
I'll actually be piggybacking on
Or sorry,
the lap.
I
on
just
the
keep
lap
calling you the
stuff,
lap
yeah.
guys. It's the lap.
I'll be piggybacking on a lot of the
Yeah.
laps social media.
Yeah.
It's a platform that already exists.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
why rebuild it?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as I said, a few times now, we're going to have a bunch of videos up of you trying to get us ready to go on this trip.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So we're going to be sitting down with you. It's going to be your show, not ours. Again, you're going to be leading us through this whole thing to get us ready to do this once in a lifetime epic trip.
That's awesome. So awesome.
And I'm super pumped for it. I don't know about Nate. Are you pumped at all about this?
Totally.
Nate's been so
He's-
thrilled.
Really bringing the energy.
Yeah, but it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a good time doing it. Can't wait to see how far it goes, what all happens.
Oh, I know it's gonna go to Vancouver. Is where
Yes,
it's gonna go.
that's where it's going to go. It's going to go there and back.
And then back.
You know, it's going to be great. So, you know what, guys? Make sure you check out all the stuff for Kickstands up, Motorcycle Adventures down in the description below. Check out Adam. Follow him on all the social media. It's all going to be down below somewhere, and I don't know where. It's not necessarily at the bottom of the screen here, but below the screen, it's all going to be there. It's going to be up on our social media stuff as well. And that's the other thing. Make sure you follow us on our social media. All right. We have, you know, our Facebook still going. We have our Instagram still going. But as Adam briefly brought up, we are also on TikTok. That's right. We are on TikTok. Check us out there. We're doing some fun, stupid shit. And it's just more or less to help us with our mental state, keep us happy, really, is really what it's about. And also to shamelessly plug Nate and Greg's World podcast. It really is.
That's right.
Okay. But we're having fun doing it. We've made a change with the podcast. We're going different directions, and we're enjoying things again the way we originally
So awesome.
wanted to, you know. And please go to go to Kickstarter. That's it. Fuck, I'm getting all mixed up between my shit and your shit. But go to Kickstarter.
And go to kickstands.ca.
Yes. But with Kickstarter, go to Kickstarter. Check out Nate Greg's World is expanding. Check out our whole project that we have there. It's going on until April 5th. We only have until April 5th, folks, to get the money we need to get this podcast to expand, to go to where we want to go so that you can all join us on a ride, on other rides, some moto vlogging, and as well as on-scene podcasting, you know, as opposed to being sitting here with, you know, these, well, 3 walls that you guys see in our leg lamp. Okay. I know you're all falling in love with the leg lamp on TikTok, but maybe that'll come on the road too. I don't know. Strap it down the back of my truck. Yeah. Back of the bike there.
Tie downs.
But yeah, we're going to be getting out there. So please go there, donate if you can. If you can't donate, please share it with friends. You never know. One of them might have $10 that they can kick in. All right. Nate, you got anything else you want to add to this?
No, it was good to see you again, Adam.
Likewise,
It's
brother.
been so long.
Yeah.
Since the last time.
Yeah. So long.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Professionalism at its finest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So check out all that stuff. And until then, we'll talk to you later.
Later.
I got no voice to pick with